What if I told you you can own an AMG twin-turbo V8 for just $40,000? Well, you can. This is the 2019 C63s AMG, and I'm gonna show you around. So this car is starting to become a really attractive deal because this has a lot to offer for the price that the used market is asking for. And with the new C63 AMG having a 4-cylinder, that's a separate topic, but that is ridiculous. This thing starts to become a lot more appealing. Now, before we take a look under this hood, I do want to talk about the way this car looks for just 1 second. I just got done doing a live stream with this car. A lot of you guys hopped in on that, and there was mixed feelings about how this car looks. I will say from the front end angle, it just looks a lot more luxurious than it does like manly and sporty, but still it is a beautiful car that looks really, really nice. It just, to me, does not differentiate itself enough as a sports car in the front end. But anyone that likes cars even remotely is not gonna miss this AMG badge, even though it is so unbelievably tiny. It's still there, and I can spot these things from pretty far away. I'm sure you can too. You also get an absolutely massive Mercedes-Benz logo on the front of your grille, plus right on the end of the hood up here as well. And I think something that's really underrated about this car's design is, well, both the splitter, but also how beautiful these headlights are. I mean, the way these are designed, it is like, it just looks really pretty, I guess is how I would describe it. Now, I'm sure you can tell from this angle right here, but this is a pretty long and, as you'll see in a second, heavy car as well. Again, this isn't supposed to be just for the sportiness, although when we drive it, you're gonna see this thing can be a lot of fun, but it is really, really luxurious. And so that's why it is heavy, it is long, but this engine, it's no joke, it can make this car move. But taking a look at the side profile of this car, nothing too fancy, but what I do really, really like are all of the lines that just flow down the side of the car. Same thing with the top of the hood. It's nothing crazy. There's not a lot of like fake vents or even real, there's no real vents for that matter, but still, the lines flowing down, it does make it look really nice. Now, this angle right here is probably my second favorite of the car. I'll show you my first in a second. But up here, you have these very, very nice looking 19-inch blacked out wheels. And to complement the white and black, to break it up a bit, you have massive AMG brakes with the caliper coated in red, and my gosh, this just looks so good. But what looks even better, I would argue, is the infamous V8 bi-turbo badge. I love these Mercedes badges. And you have this like really neat sort of scoop in the paint, or the body, if you will, to kind of outline the badge. Now, in the back here, first and foremost, this is where all of the power is sent to, so you need some grippy tires, and it does have that. This has Michelin Pilot Super Sports, but the tire width is only 285. However, due to the fact that this thing makes just a hair over 500 horsepower at 503, and this car weighs quite a bit, we'll talk more specific on the numbers in a second, these kind of do the job for you. Now, this right here is my favorite angle of the car. If it's yours too, then we're friends. For some reason, the back end, it just looks perfect to me. I think a big part of that are these badges. You have the nice blacked out AMG badge, C63s as well. And by the way, the S does provide some value over just the regular C63 AMG. We'll talk more about that in a second. And also in the back, you have quad tip blacked out exhausts that actually say AMG right on the tip of the exhaust, which looks really, really nice. Now, under this hood is your twin-turbo V8 AMG engine. As I was mentioning earlier, because this is the S, you get an extra 30 to 40 horsepower and torque over just the base C63 AMG. So this makes 503 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque compared to just 469 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. If we're spending $40,000 to $50,000 on a car, 503 horsepower sounds awesome, but is this really the car to get? This thing weighs 4,200 pounds. because it is a little bit geared towards the luxury side. However, we have yet to listen to the exhaust. We have yet to feel how this thing accelerates, and also, with it being luxury, how does the interior look? Let's check it out. All right, you guys, now we are sitting inside of the AMG C63s. This is seriously a car I have been wanting to drive for a long time. The feedback that this car gets is so unbelievably positive. Now, the previous version with the 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8, that seems to be the one that is, I mean, first of all, it is pretty cheap, and also it is a monstrous sounding car. This one, I wouldn't downplay it too much, but hey, we'll see what it's like. But before we start this thing up and go for a drive, I want to touch on this interior. If you've seen newer Mercedes interiors, this is going to look a bit on the older school side. But still, the trim, the materials, I love the seat controls in here. Heated and cooled seats, and the steering wheel presentation is so nice as well. Mercedes logo, AMG right at the bottom. I absolutely love the driver's view of this. And you still have analog style gauge clusters, which is, I know, you know, people, it's a very mixed feelings on having analog or digital. I like both if digital is done correctly. But with that being said, let's go ahead and start this thing up. All right, you guys, and just before we pull off here, I want to show you something really cool. So, first of all, this is not touchscreen, by the way. It's all controlled through this touchpad right here, and inside a vehicle, if you go to Dynamic Select and scroll down and hit engine data, this is awesome. You actually get a live feeding of the horsepower and torque that the engine is producing. That is so cool. I love cars that do that. I don't know why. I just think that's so neat. And also, of course, all the buttons in here. I mean, Mercedes, it's a higher end car, right? So everything's gonna just feel better, feel nicer. And everything obviously is, it is durable on the interior. And let's go ahead and start this video off with a nice little launch. Not really launch, but we'll just floor it from a stop here. So down here you have your drive mode selector, and you can choose between slippery, individual, comfort, sport, and sport plus. Obviously, we're gonna do this drive in Sport Plus. A lot of adjustable settings here, including exhaust, suspension, etc. This is a very customizable car, which is really nice. All right, let's go ahead and floor it and see. Actually, let's crack the windows a little bit here. Now, take a listen to the way this thing sounds. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So, hold on, let me turn on the, whoa, that is weird. They're both red. Normally these are supposed to indicate what's cooled or heated. I actually don't even know which one is cooled seats. I'm assuming it's this one here. Yes, it is. But anyway, to touch on that, what do you guys think about that? I was expecting a little bit more sound out of this thing. So, I was a little bit disappointed when I heard that. On the bright side, it is very deep and mean. One of the meanest and deepest, like, growling sort of exhausts that I think I have ever heard out of literally any car. You hear a Mustang GT and you say, now that's a grumbly exhaust. No, this car, the way that exhaust sounds is again, just mean and deep is how I would describe it. We're gonna wait. And let's peel off and do another pull really quick. This thing, it's pretty fast, guys. 503 horsepower. All right, off we go. Let's do it again. I absolutely love those gauges. And that is actually wheel power, wheel horsepower and wheel torque. As you can see, it is not approaching 500. So you actually get an accurate, legitimate rating of how much power you're putting to the ground. That is really awesome. All right, so now we're rolling at 50 miles an hour. Let's see how it feels like this. It feels good. It feels good. Most other cars, if you put 503 horsepower in it, it's gonna feel very exciting, accelerating when you're already rolling, 50, 60 miles an hour. This one though, again, it is geared a little on the more heavy on the luxury side. If you want something like really sport oriented, that's where a BMW comes into play. So just before we hit the tunnel up there and actually really get a feel for how this sounds, how does this feel compared to a BMW? Well, the interior to me is a lot nicer. The interior presentation, I will say though, the ride quality is not all that. It has 46,500 miles on it, but I'm definitely getting more vibrations in here than I would like to. And it's not, this thing's not old. It's not like super used. It's only 46,000 miles. It's only a 6-year-old car. It's not as comfortable as honestly I would have thought, given that this is geared towards luxury. And we're at the tunnel, so here's the exciting part. When you're under a tunnel, that does sound pretty good. But without a doubt, guys, if you're gonna buy one of these, it is a must. You have to wake up the exhaust. That's how I would like the car to sound if the exhaust valves were like closed or maybe like normal mode. But Sport Plus, when it's in its most aggressive setting, that is not sufficient in terms of the sound that you get. All right, everyone's moving out of the way. Let's take another, actually, let's launch it in this tunnel here. All right, windows down. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. All right, that sounded nice. When you get higher up in your speed, it's sad when the wind noise actually really starts to overtake the exhaust sound. But being at a lower speed or being next to like a wall or in between buildings or under a bridge, that is really good noise. It's just when it's accelerating here, when you have nothing to bounce the sound off of, it is not good enough. And even then, I mean, if you have tons of bridges around you or walls or buildings, I still would put a better exhaust setup on this or get rid of the catalytic converter, something to open this thing up and have it sound a lot louder and better because of all the potential that this car does have. Guys, I like this. I think this has a lot to offer if you're looking at $40,000 to $45,000. Would it be my first pick in that price range? No, it would not. But if you're a big AMG fan, you're somebody that likes the more luxury side of things, you're planning on using it for like luxurious rides and purposes like that, but still want that sportiness and you don't mind doing a catalytic converter delete or a modified exhaust, then this would be a phenomenal car. As soon as that exhaust opens up, it would really, really come alive and be the car that is awesome to experience. But hey, let's do a quick 0 to 60 test and see what this thing gets here. 503 horsepower, 4,200 pounds, 0 to 60, 3, 2, 1, go. And brake hard. Ooh, seatbelt actually tightened up on me. That was cool. It knew I was doing that and then it just, wow. I've never felt a seatbelt do that before. I know that was weird to you guys, but that thing just it gripped the crap out of my chest. That was interesting. Let's hop out, give some final thoughts. So all in all, guys, the 2019 AMG C63s is a interesting car. I would give this thing like a 7 to 7.5 out of 10 as a whole for $40,000 to $45,000. I would recommend looking at the $45,000 price range to ensure you're not buying one that's about to incur a bunch of expenses. I like the design. It's nothing crazy. It's very luxurious with some sporty touches. Interior is nice. It is very, very nice. It's just starting to look a little bit outdated in the Mercedes world at this point. And the soul of this car is the twin turbo V8. And with the way cars are going and the new C63s being AMG being frickin' 4-cylinder, well, it makes me like this car a lot more. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments, and if you'd buy one of these, and if you own one, please share your thoughts in the comments. Appreciate y'all, and see you very, very soon in the next video. Peace out.